Hello everybody, my name is Kern. I post home recording weekly. This is the Softube Transient Shaper. I call it a transient designer, transient shaper. I'm going to say them both, so please no comments if I mess up and say the wrong thing. You know what? It's no secret that professional mix engineers have been using transient shapers, transient designers since their creation. And I'm going to show you why today. There's many reasons why. Now, I've been following a few of the big ones. David Glenn, Matt Weiss, Dave Pensato, the mix coach Kevin Ward, Joe Gilder, Graham Cochran. These guys use transient designers, transient shapers all the time. One of the main reasons they do this is that it saves time when they mix. What the idea is, and Kevin Ward said this beautiful, he's the mix coach. Kevin said, I pretend I am the parent of every single track, the bass player, the guitar player, the drummer, you name it. If it's in a song, on a track, I am their mother, their father, and I want to hear them in the finished song. Each track needs to stand out and be heard. And how do you get a track to cut through in an extremely dense mix? You play with the transients, you play with the attack, and that's exactly what transient shapers, transient designers do. They are compressors, limiters, expanders, but they're fast, simple, quick, and easy to use. And let me tell you, the one from Softube, it's because of these switches and knobs here, it is the best transient designer, transient shaper I have come across, and I'm going to show you guys why. I'm going to play a song that I have recorded. It's not mixed at all. There is one compressor on this song that I'm aware of, and I'm going to show you what this thing can do on kicks, snares, bass, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, all kinds of tracks. And I'm going to take you through the plugin itself. Guys, if you go to the website, it's $99 for this thing. Like I said, it saves time if you think about it. If you can save 30 minutes off your mix by using a transient designer, instead of opening up a compressor and setting it to make the attack more present and, to squish your sustain in every instance you use it, those minutes that you save using it once are going to add up to like an hour or more per mix. And that means every day you get more time to mix. You can go home early, you can mix more songs. You know what? Time is money, they say. And at $99, this is a no-brainer plugin. And I'm going to tell you, I play with a lot of plugins. I get a lot to audition. This is now my new favorite plugin. It sounds fantastic. It works like none other. You know what? Let's just get into what this thing can do. I'm going to play my song for you, a little snippet of it, and then we're going to get into what this plugin can do. I'm going to mute my mic, and here we go. That was a very quick look at, a quick listen, to my song. Here we are. What I've done is I've opened up the kick bus, and as you can see, I have a transient shaper on here. The knobs are sustain, this one is punch, and then these switches here that read high, wide, and low on each, a fast, a slow, and then a couple of knobs. I'm just going to tell you, this is what sets this plugin apart, are these switches and knobs. Now, you can have increase in punch or a decrease in punch, which is your attack, and the same thing in sustain, a positive increase in sustain or less sustain, and that's fantastic. This switch tells it it's only going to modify the high frequencies. It's going to modify only the low frequencies or all of them. And if that's not enough, if you want to do just the high, you can set the crossover over here. The lows are on the left and the highs go to the right up to 4K, and you can tell it what is high and what is low. I think that is just insanely intuitive and brilliant and clever, and I can't believe that this is the only transient designer I've ever seen that has that. Maybe there's others out there, I don't know, but I just thought that was incredible. Let's see how it works. I'm going to play some tracks for you and explain the problems that I hear and the common issues. And again, there is no mixing at all on this song. In fact, I haven't even done the vocals yet. So let's go ahead and solo the kicks and see what we have. Okay, not much punch, and the sustain is too much for me. If I control click, it defaults back to 0 on both of these. So let's listen to it again. Yeah, I'm getting too much room. It rings for too long. When you're mixing, you want the kick and the toms to sound and then get out of the way. That's what David Glenn has taught me, and that's what this is going to do. So what I'm thinking is, we will just simply increase the punch, the transient, and then we will roll back the sustain and see what we get as we do it in real time. Let's do it. Transient designers are compressors, expanders, limiters, gates, all in one, if you think about it. It depends how you set those dynamic altering tools up. This is a fast, quick, and easy dynamic tool. And as you just heard, now that kick has punch and it has less room sound, less sustain. It fires, it sounds in the mix, and it's going to get away. I'm sorry, get out of the way. Now I'm going to play that and bypass it, and then I'm going to bring it in the song. Here's bypass and unbypassed. All right. You tell me if that isn't incredible. And I haven't touched a single button or knob or anything. Let's go ahead and take it out of solo mode, and I'm going to bypass it. And then what I'm going to do is, now that the song is started here, I am going to bring it out of bypass when it starts. You can watch this little button right here is bypass, and you tell me if it jumps out of the mix a little more or not. I don't think it's any louder. I mean, it might be a little bit louder, but there's a level knob over here to cut it back if it is louder. What more could you want? And again, I could increase the attack on the high frequencies only and roll back the sustain on the low only. Anything is possible. I'm going to go ahead and remove, I'm going to keep that on there. And let's move on to the snares. Let's see what we're dealing with first, and then we will do some snaggling here with this Transient Shaper. Okay, again, there's not enough attack, initial thwack, and I love attack. And there's a lot of room sound. There's too much sustain going on for this snare. So let's turn on this Transient Shaper here. I think I got the right one, and let's hear what we get. Okay, so I'm going to alter this again. Instead of doing all the frequencies, let's just increase the attack of the high frequencies. That's nice already. And then let's keep the wide on and reduce the sustain. And I should tell you, there's no reverb in the song at all yet. It hasn't been mixed. What you just heard is from a good snare to an incredible sounding snare in what, seconds? Let's bypass and I'll bring that back out. Here we go. The difference is amazing. Let's hear it in the mix, shall we? We shall. I'm sorry, I just think that's actually shocking how simple that was, how fast that did its thing. Let's move on to the toms. Like I said, the toms, you want to hear them hit, and then you want them to get out of your mix because they take up a lot of low-end frequency information, and there's instruments in there, usually like in this song, I have cellos, I have a bass guitar, I have the kick drum, and I have some other strings and things going on that are all occupying this low end. I want the toms to hit, to be heard, and then to get out of the way. So I'm thinking of bringing up the punch on the high and then switching the low on and getting rid of sustain. So what I want to do is find a place where the toms actually fire, and I'm just going to loop that, and we're actually going to solo the toms and play. So let me do that, and maybe I can do that right here in real time. That's where I want it to be. And then we'll get it to go right there. Let's see what we get. I think that'll work. Maybe not that long. We'll shorten it to there. I'll turn it up for you. All right, so they're hitting. They sound okay. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that's not bad. But then they just kind of hang around forever, right? All right, let's see what we can do. Let's put the attack, the punch. I want to make that more apparent, only in the high frequencies. So I'm going to switch that to the high. That might be too much, but it sounds so good. Again, I'm going to shorten this loop a little bit, and then listen now. That already sounds better. Now that sustain is in the low, and right now it's set at 700 hertz. Let's just bring it up here, and we'll play with it and see what we get. That's not bad. Now, I want to bring this in with the rest of the song and then bypass it and see what we get. So I'm going to take everything out of solo. And again, what I did with this is all 3 toms, and they're going to be panned and everything. I would do this on each track and probably spend a little more time doing it. I brought up the punch, the attack of the high frequencies, and basically lowered the sustain of the low frequencies, and this is bypassed. You can hear the toms hit at the volume they're at, but you don't really notice them, and unfortunately they stay too long because it's going to muddy up my mix. So let's do a before and after again. You definitely hear them more now that I've gone ahead and increased the punch. You notice they're there and they don't stick around as long, although in a complete dense mix you weren't able to hear the fact that they don't stay very long. Next, I want to keep moving, and I want to come over here to my guitars. I have a few guitars. I have picked guitars, electric guitars, and acoustic guitars, and I just want to show you the beauty, what's going on here. I have a phase meter here. That's pretty interesting. I lied. I thought all I had was one compressor going on. I'm going to put transient shapers on these three, but we're only going to do one at a time. So first, let's listen to this pick bus. I'm going to put my microphone in solo, and that way I can talk and tell you what you are listening to. Not that you're not intelligent, but I haven't mixed this. I have just recorded it. Let's go back to the beginning of the song and see what I have going on here. This is called the picked guitar. Okay, I just looped it. Now in the song, I'm scared it's not going to be as loud as I want. Granted, I turned it up. Let's check it out. I couldn't even hear it. So let's see if we can get the attack on the high frequencies to increase, and we'll put it back in solo to do that. Check, check. Okay, you can hear me. Let's put it in solo. We're going to raise the attack of the high frequencies, and then whatever we do to the sustain, we're going to leave it right in wide, which is all of the frequencies. I'm really concerned about the attack, the punch, the high frequencies. In fact, I'm going to put the sustain back because I was pleased with that, to be honest. And that's a problem with plugins sometimes. You just fiddle with things that you don't need to fiddle with. So I'm going to bypass it and then bring it in and out of the mix and see if my guitars actually got louder. Or I should say, are they more noticeable now than they were before? Let's get rid of all of the solos and check it out. You know what? It's amazing. It's very quiet in the mix still. I haven't turned it up. In fact, I'm not going to. When I click this button, it comes out of bypass, and I want you to listen very close. You just can't hear them until I undo this. Here we go. That's very cool. For $99, I just made my mixing so easy. I just turned it up in the mix because I want this to be even more pronounced so that you can hear what I'm hearing. And again, not because you don't know what you're hearing, because it's very subtle in the mix. So I just turned it up, and let's check it out. I'm bypassed right now. When this orange light right here goes off, it's unbypassed. Now the opposite is true. If that attack is annoying you, the attack of your, say you recorded your guitars with a large diaphragm condenser, that's all you had, and you noticed it's a very treble rich recording and the attack is driving you crazy, then you can go in the reverse, and let's do that right now. I'm going to solo my mic and the guitars, and let's do it. That's how you do it. You just roll the punch back and you're done. No need to open up a compressor. You're more than welcome. But if you've only got a couple of hours to get a mix done for a buddy, I'm reaching for this over a compressor every time. That's just the way it is. I'm going to put it back the way it was, and I'm going to leave it in the mix, and then we are going to go on to a different guitar track. Let's hear what we have here. All right, that is an acoustic that is more strumming than anything. I'm going to pick up the punch a little bit in the high band, and I'm probably going to leave it alone and see what we get. I'm going to push it a little bit just to see what's possible. It sounds like you're sitting beside the guy when this is on, because you can hear the attack of the pick. When I bypass it, that goes away. That's what I'm hearing. Let's play with the sustain. So the actual sustain from the instrument is still there. It just kind of compresses down the sustain-y part of the note. I like it. So let's hear it in the context of the song, and then I'll bypass it and I'll bring it out. See if we can notice. Again, I turned it up a little bit. I'll turn it down. So there's a lead part going there. Let me just move this ahead to where that lead is not there, if I can. Here we go. Of course, there's no strum bus there. Let's see. No, we're not going to get it. That lead is there whenever that part is in. And that's all right. That happens, right? As you guys know, I didn't set this up before. I am so blown away. I just want you guys to see what's possible. Let's go on to the bass. Again, no other plugins on this song at all. There's one compressor, one phase meter, and the transient shaper. And it's amazing what this thing is doing. Let's turn the bass up and just listen first. I will tell you, I recorded that direct. I might have used a Sans amp pedal. Odds are I did not. It's simply direct. I haven't done anything to it. So I want the bass to stick out more. I'm going to bring the sustain down and turn the punch up. And I'm going to do that. Turn the punch up of the higher part of the bass, that pick or the finger sound, and I'm going to turn the low sustain down, and let's see what we get. I'll bypass it. Nothing subtle there. That's like alarming how much that changed. Let's take this out of solo and see what it does for the bass in the mix. Again, it's bypassed right now, and I will bring it out. I can actually hear the notes of the bass when they're played cutting through the song better, even though I've done no EQing on this thing at all. And as you can see, I just messed with the sustain because I couldn't help myself. I wanted to see what would happen. Well, I'm just going to cut it here. Maybe we'll do a string section. Let's do that. I'll play for you what is going on here. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is not me playing cello and violins. This is Reason. And I wanted to show you because if maybe you're not happy with the strings, if you have a nice percussive instrument a virtual instrument, let's say, that's a cello or a violin or something, and it's just not cutting through, I've got your answer right here. Let's see. So it almost sounds like a backwards line, even though it's not backwards. So I'm just going to mess around with the frequencies and see what happens. I'm going to do the attack in the high frequencies, and I'm going to leave the sustain right where it is. And again, this is on the bus. This is 4 instruments coming or more coming into this. Because of the samples I used, I will say I turned the attack up, the punch of the high frequencies, and it made it more audible, like when the note starts, and that's its job. And I played with the sustain, and it really brought in some volume, so I brought the volume level back down. The sustain, that's a sustainy sample anyway, so it didn't do much, but let's just check it in the mix. Let's see what this thing does. I think it got louder in the mix, basically. I did turn it up just then, but I think the sustain made it louder, so it made it more noticeable, even though I did turn the attack up and there's some high frequency stuff going on there. But again, that's not the point. The point is, for $99, you can get a transient designer. You can shave, I'm going to say, hours off of mixes from here on out. Softube has created an incredible tool that, to be quite frank with you guys, it's a steal. I've never seen a transient designer where you can alter the frequencies. You can decide what frequencies with a crossover. And I haven't even touched the fast and slow knob. That tells this, do you want the actual transient to clamp down on the attack or not? That's what that does. In fact, let's check it out on the snare real quick. And I am so sorry that I haven't showed you guys this yet. The fast and the slow, basically, do you want to allow that transient through before this turns on or not? And let's play with it. Let's see, let's turn the punch down. And let's bypass it. As you can see, the attack is gone. I'm sorry, let's do it the other way. So we're on fast, and I've got the punch up. So it's really making the transient, the initial thwack, really loud, right? In fact, it was clipping. Let's put it on slow, and it's not going to start working till after that initial thwack. Let's go back. Did you hear how when it was in fast, that transient volume was more noticeable and it was clipping? That is what the fast and slow does. If you're altering that transient, and that's the most important thing, put it in fast. If it's not, if you're working on a sustaining part, put it down on slow. If that is the most important to you, is the sustain. Then put it down in slow, and chances are it's going to leave that transient more alone. And I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video, and I apologize for not. But I'm glad I caught myself, because I was actually closing the video out, and I would have made a horrible mistake. So 30 minutes of your time. I hope this 30-minute investment and a $99 purchase will save you hours and hours of time and all kinds of money in the future. And you know what? I have a songwriting contest every year at Home Recording Weekly. You guys are all more than welcome to enter. The rules are going to be over at homerecordingweekly.com, and the contest is in the summer months, and I give away thousands of dollars worth of plugins and training and all kinds of cool virtual instruments. So check it out and be ready at homerecordingweekly.com.